Welcome to the Social Security and Your CalPERS Pension webcast. Before we get to the main presentation, let's take care of some housekeeping items. To provide you with a future reference and make your note-taking easier, we've provided a learning guide for this webcast. You'll see the link to the learning guide in the YouTube description box. The video for this webcast will stay posted here on YouTube so you can come back and watch again if you need to. Please note that due to the large number of participants, even though the chat feature is active, we won't be able to respond to member questions during this webcast. Our agenda today includes going over some Social Security basics such as how you become eligible. We'll cover how your Social Security may be affected by the windfall elimination provision or the government pension offset. Finally, we'll go into the resources that are available to you. Let's start with the basics. The Social Security Administration is a federally mandated social insurance program funded through payroll taxes. It provides a monthly benefit to those who pay into the system and become eligible. First, we'll explain how you become eligible for Social Security benefits if you're covered. You may be eligible based on your personal work record, or, if married, you may receive benefits based on your spouse's work record. You're eligible for up to 50% of a benefit based on your spouse's work record. However, you can't receive both your personal benefit and a spousal benefit. You'll receive the higher of the two. First, we'll review eligibility based on your personal work record. For your personal work record, you earn Social Security credits as you work and pay taxes into the program. 40 credits are required to be eligible for benefits. This usually equates to about 10 years of work. The number of credits doesn't affect the amount you receive, it just determines if you're eligible. The amount of earnings it takes to earn a credit changes from year to year. For example, for 2021, you earn 1 credit for every $1,470 in covered earnings. Even if you have never worked under Social Security, you may be able to receive a 50% benefit based on your spouse's Social Security retirement benefits. You must be at least 62 years of age, and your spouse must be collecting their Social Security retirement or disability benefits. The earliest age you can collect Social Security benefits is 62. If you collect earlier than your full retirement age, you will receive a reduced benefit. This reduction is permanent and affects your spousal and survivor benefits. However, you will receive benefits for a longer period. If you collect before your full retirement age, there are income limits if you decide to work. Please note that for Social Security, your pension is not considered when it comes to income limits. You can decide to wait till your full retirement age to collect your Social Security. Once full retirement age, there are no income limits, and we'll explain full retirement age in a moment. You can receive delayed retirement credits up to age 70 if you wait to start collecting. Benefits increase for each year you postpone receiving benefits past full retirement age. On the following slide is a chart that helps explain what your full retirement age is. Social Security determines your full retirement age for Social Security benefits. The full retirement age has nothing to do with when you can retire from us. Full retirement age determines when you can collect 100% of your Social Security benefit. If you collect your Social Security retirement benefit at your full retirement age, you will get 100% of your benefit before any offset that may be applied. If you collect earlier, you receive a reduced benefit. As stated before, if you collect later than full retirement age, you can receive more than 100%. Social Security Administration applies several formulas and calculations to determine your benefit. Step 1 is that the Social Security Administration reviews your reported wages and indexes them at today's dollars so that earnings you have from 20 to 30 years ago are increased to reflect today's value. Step 2 is that they use the highest 35 years to determine the first part of their calculation called the Average Indexed Monthly Earnings, or AIM. After determining the AIM, Social Security Administration applies a series of benefit factors to the AIM to calculate your benefit. You don't have to memorize this or do the math as Social Security calculates it for you. You can also use the calculators available on ssa.gov. It's important, however, to be aware of how the calculation of your benefit is structured because it will help you understand exactly where the WEP and GPO can impact your benefit. and we'll review actual examples of calculations to help you understand this complicated process. This is just an example based on numbers for 2021 and change each year. The benefit factors are percentages of specific dollar amounts or thresholds in your AIM. The normal benefit factor for the first formula is 90% of the first $996 of the AIM. The Social Security Administration never uses a 100% benefit factor in the first formula, even for those who have always been covered and will receive a full benefit. The 90% first factor is the only benefit factor impacted by the offsets or reductions. The other two benefit factors are not impacted by the WEP or GPO. For the second benefit factor, earnings between $996 and $6,002 are multiplied by 32%. If there is still a dollar amount left in the AIM, any excess is calculated using the third benefit factor of 15%. Most of us never reach that third benefit factor. It usually applies to high-income earners. Let's look at an example benefit calculation. In this example, we have an AIM of $3,000. Please note, we've rounded some of the resulting calculations for ease of understanding. Of the $3,000, the first $996 is multiplied by 90% with a result of $897. That's our first benefit factor. Remember, the second benefit factor calculates any earnings between $996 and $6,002. In this example, we have $2,004 remaining from the $3,000, which is multiplied by a 32% factor for the result of $641. This is our second benefit factor. Since there are no earnings left over, the third factor of 15% does not apply. Our total benefit amount would be $1,538. The normal benefit is calculated before any possible offsets are applied. Offsets are applied if there were periods of pension coverage only or non-Social Security covered employment in your work record. The Windfall Elimination Provision, WEP, is an offset or reduction applied to benefits based on your own personal work record. The Government Pension Offset, or GPO, is applied if you collect benefits based on your spouse's work record. So why the offsets? The Social Security calculation is set up to pay a higher benefit to low-income earners. Congress passed the offsets to prevent workers who receive non-covered pensions from receiving higher Social Security benefits as if they were long-time low-wage earners. The Social Security Administration formula is designed to provide individuals with low average lifetime wages a higher rate of return on their contributions to Social Security than those with high average lifetime wages. For example, the low-income earner benefit was designed for someone who has earnings for most or all of 35 years, but each year was low income resulting in a low average. A person with 35 years of earnings, but only 10 years in Social Security covered employment, will have an average that reflects 25 years of zero earnings. 25 years of zeros will result in their average appearing as though they are low-income earners and they would receive a higher benefit even though they weren't truly low income. While Social Security is not considered a welfare program, it's designed to provide low earners with higher percentage of their lifetime earnings. These offsets were Congress's way of removing the advantage of medium and high earning individuals appearing as lifetime low-income earners. You may be affected if you're eligible to receive a Social Security benefit and worked in a government position where you did not contribute to Social Security. In the next few slides, we'll review both offsets in greater detail. Let's start with the Windfall Elimination Provision, or WEP. The WEP is the Social Security provision that reduces your Social Security benefit if you worked in a government position where you weren't contributing to Social Security. WEP can affect your Social Security retirement or disability benefit. Social Security coverage for public employees is not automatic. Not every agency participates in the program. The WEP reduces your Social Security benefit if you did not pay into Social Security and are eligible for a pension based on that employment. For example, you work for the city of ABC. With the city of ABC, you pay Social Security taxes. Say you decide to take the same job at the city of 123 because it's closer to home. City of 123 does not participate in Social Security, so this provision may apply to you. Survivor benefits aren't affected by the WEP. If you have 30 or more years of substantial earnings, you're exempt from WEP. This chart shows the percentage used depending on the number of years of substantial earnings. The first percentage factor gradually increases the more years of substantial earnings you have reported in a Social Security position. Remember our first calculation we did over on the left. Notice the WEP only impacts the first benefit factor. First, the AIM is calculated. Then the benefit factors are applied. In our example, we had an AIM of $3,000. With the 90% applied, the result was $897. In this WEP calculation, the first benefit factor is reduced from 90% to 40%. This is for an employee who has 20 or fewer years of substantial earnings covered by Social Security, so the maximum WEP reduction applies. The WEP is applied in a sliding scale, so the WEP benefit factor could be somewhere between 40 and 90%, depending on the number of years of substantial earnings that you have. Notice the difference is $498 per month. The maximum WEP for someone who turned 62 was $498 regardless of the AIM. We will see an example of the maximum WEP in the next comparison where we look at someone with a higher AIM. Now let's look at someone with a higher AIM of $8,000. As you can see, the same calculation applies. The first part of the calculation stays the same. For the next part, we take 32% of $6,002, which equals $1,602, and 15% from the balance equals $300. This equals a benefit amount of $2,798. When the WEP is applied, the amount is reduced to $498. Again, regardless of the AIM amount, the reduction is still the same. If you know that the WEP applies to you, use the Windfall Elimination Provision online calculator to get an idea of the reduction you might take. Now let's switch to the Government Pension Offset, also known as the GPO. The Government Pension Offset is designed to reduce benefits if you do not pay into Social Security and receive a pension based on that work. This provision reduces benefits you may be eligible to receive based on your spouse's work record. Many people think this reduction is to their spouse's benefits. That's not accurate. To clarify, it's your benefit that you are eligible to receive based on your spouse's work record. Basically, the GPO is in place so that someone who is eligible for the 50% spousal benefit will still have that 50% spousal benefit offset or reduced, just like their personal benefit is offset or reduced by the WEP. The GPO offset is applied in a less complicated way than the WEP. There's no sliding scale. With the GPO, 2/3 of the amount of your government pension will be used to reduce the Social Security benefits you are entitled to receive on your spouse's record. As an example, a correction officer does not contribute to the Social Security program. If their spouse worked in the private sector or in a government job paying into Social Security, then the correctional officer is eligible to receive 50% of a benefit based on their spouse's work record. However, because the correctional officer did not pay into Social Security, their spousal benefit will be reduced and sometimes wiped out by the GPO. Here are a couple of examples. In this example, we have a non-covered employee who did not earn 40 credits and is not eligible for a Social Security benefit. We also have their spouse who is covered and eligible for a $2,500 Social Security benefit. Take a look at the non-covered employee column. They are not eligible for a benefit through their own work record, but they are eligible for a 50% of their spouse's benefit, which equates to $1,250. They also have a government pension of $3,000. The GPO reduction is 2/3 of their government pension, which comes out to $2,000. As you can see in this example, this is more than the spousal benefit of $1,250 and is completely wiped out by the GPO reduction. Let's take a look at another example. Here we have a covered employee who is eligible for a $2,500 Social Security benefit, and their spouse who is a non-covered employee who is not eligible for a Social Security benefit through their own personal work record. Again, let's take a look at the non-covered employee column. They are not eligible for a benefit through their own work record, but they are eligible for 50% of their spouse's benefit, which is $1,250. They also have a government pension of $1,150. So once again, the GPO reduction is 2/3 of the amount of the government pension, which comes out to $767. After the reduction is applied, the non-covered employee is left with a Social Security benefit of $483. On the Social Security Retirement Benefits page, you'll find more information on the government pension offset. As you scroll down the page, you'll find exemptions to the GPO, information you'll need to calculate your benefit if affected by the GPO, and finally, you'll find the calculator to get an idea of how your benefit may be impacted if the GPO applies to you. We've talked about the WEP and GPO calculators as resources that can help you. There are other resources available that we'll cover now. We've developed a resources page on our CalPERS website called Social Security and Your CalPERS Pension. This page provides basic information about the WEP and GPO and links to additional resources. Towards the bottom of that page, you'll find a listing of who to contact if you believe you've been incorrectly reduced by the WEP or GPO and you're unable to resolve the issue directly with your local Social Security office. The Social Security website provides information on retirement, disability, supplemental security income, Medicare, and other online services such as applying for your Social Security benefits, changing your address, direct deposit, and more. Another great resource is your My Social Security account, which is a convenient and secure site that provides your Social Security information. You can only open an account for yourself. You cannot open an account for another person, even if you have their written consent. You may be unable to open a My Social Security account if you have blocked electronic access to your personal Social Security information, you've recently moved or changed your name, or you've placed a freeze on your credit report. Your online My Social Security account provides a variety of information to assist you. On your home page, you can print or save a copy of your Social Security statement that includes your current earnings history. You'll find information to plan for retirement, request a new card, or a letter showing whether you are currently receiving benefits. Further down, you'll see an estimate of what your benefits would be depending on when you start drawing your Social Security benefit. It's important to remember that this does not calculate in the WEP if it applies to you. That's where you'll want to use the WEP calculator. Continuing down, you'll see information on applying for Social Security disability benefits, survivor benefits, and Medicare information. You should review your ongoing earnings record to identify if there are any discrepancies. If there are, contact Social Security to correct them. Our presentation today was intended to give you an understanding of how having a CalPERS pension may affect your Social Security benefits. To reinforce the information you've received today, I encourage you to take one of our member education classes, enroll in your MyCalPERS account under Education. Please note that CalPERS is governed by the Public Employees Retirement Law. The information in this webcast is general. The retirement law is complex and subject to change. If there is a conflict between the law and the information presented in this webcast, any decision will be based on the law. Later today, you'll receive an email with a short evaluation. Please answer all the questions as it's important for us to get your feedback to help us improve these presentations. Thank you for taking time out of your day to attend this presentation, and have a great day.